Welcome to Bible Fiber, where we are encountering the textures and shades of the biblical tapestry. I am Shelley Neese, president of the Jerusalem Connection, a Christian organization devoted to sharing the story of the people of Israel, both ancient and modern. This week we are interviewing a special guest, Yair Levi. Yair is a Jewish Israeli singer, songwriter, and musical producer based in Tel Aviv, Israel. He's incredibly popular among Christians who love Israel, which is one of the things we'll talk about. But first, Yair, welcome to the podcast.
Shalom, how are you?
Great. It's great to have you on the show. I read in your bio that you are a Jewish Levite. Can you explain what that means for our audience?
In the people of Israel, most of the people here for sure know it, that the sons of Jacob, we have the son of Jacob that is Judah, and this is why we call the Jewish people today Jewish people. He had more sons like Levi, and Levi is the grandfather of Moses, and Moses, his brother was Aaron. So Aaron and Moses was the priest and the Levites of the nation. Their sons were the Levites and the priest of the nation. So the Levite was in charge of working in the temple, working in the tabernacle, and singing also. And the priests, the Kohanim, used to be in charge of the sacrifice and other work that they needed to do, and of course to bless during the ceremonies. So it's very nice to think about it, that I am also like singing to the nations, because the Levites in the temple, most of the people don't know, it's not that they just used to sing to the people of Israel. It was a house of prayer for all nations. So the Levites used to stand on the step to the temple before people going up to the temple, Jewish and non-Jewish, or maybe Israelis and not Israelis is the right way to say it. And they used to sing to everyone, to build something in their heart before they're coming to the temple. So I'm kind of bringing back, I hope, what my forefathers used to do.
That's incredible. Is your family a family of singers? Was your father also a singer, or your mother?
So no, it's very funny. They don't know where it came from. We don't have in our family, but we used to sing a lot. I'm a regular Israeli guy. I'm mixed with, maybe we can speak about it more later, but I'm mixed with Ashkenaz, Sephardic, Yemenite also, and it's all mixed. And I used to listen to a lot of in one hand, Middle Eastern, mainstream pop, and a lot of things that you hear in Israel. And also, think from outside, outside of Israel, from the West. So I think I have kind of trying to do with this, kind of a mix of something that maybe can bring, as it's written in Psalms, a new song or something new. Yeah.
Did you grow up in a religious family?
So this is one of the things that I'm trying to explain a lot of time to Christian people that I meet a lot, as you know, that the people of Israel are more similar to Middle Eastern countries than to the Western countries with the religion. 75% of the Israelis came from Middle Eastern countries, like today in Israel. So most of the people that I meet, Christian people, they meet the Jewish people in New York, in the U.S., in Europe. So they meet the Ashkenaz people. That this is part of Judaism, but the most of the people in Israel that came to Israel, they came from a Middle Eastern countries. In these kind of countries, everyone religious. No one is non-religious. Even if he's not Purei Yarmulke, even if he's not, but everyone keeps Shabbat. Everyone, your identity as a Jewish person is to keep Shabbat. It's not because you're religious or not. It's this is who you are, and this is kind of a conflict that we see today in Israel. I'm happy about this conflict. It's a good conflict. I feel it's like it's building this nation for a better place. That it's a question like, does Judaism is a religion or a people? And this is a question that now I think it's the basement. This is the roots of all the conflict that you see in Israel today. A lot of people talking about the court, the problem with the judge and the government and who is in control. A lot of things. Everything is on this question: does Judaism is just a religion, or Judaism it's something like identity of a people? And this is a very deep question. We can speak about it hours, I think. But so it's only about the question that you ask me. Yeah, if I'm came from religion. So the answer, sorry, it's that I'm from kind of a religious family.
But I understand the essence is also that all Israelis are religious. So yes. I have an Israeli journalist friend who's corrected me one time with the question and basically said, it takes faith to live here. We're all religious. How does your faith and your Jewish Levite identity, how does that impact your music? I mean, your music is religious, and that's one reason why I think so many people have identified with it. It feels worshipful. It feels like music offered to God. So how does your faith impact your music, and how does the Bible impact your songwriting?
So I started. I released my first song when I was 28, and I was like 8 years in the army in elite unit, and it took for me time to go back to my dream when I was 16 to release music. And I had a very good band that we started to succeed when we were 16. But as every Israeli, I went to the army, and then I stayed for another 8 years. And then it's like, I left my service when I was 26, and I released my first album. That it was like kind of secular, mixed with Jewish scriptures to the radio, and it was successful. Like, it was in the radio in Israel. I started to perform. I started to have my for me it was a miracle, because I didn't know how the people will respond on someone that released his first song when he's 28. And then Corona came, COVID came. We call it in Israel Corona. COVID came, and all of my concert was canceled, and everything started to be like kind of so stressful. I had 3 kids, today I have 4, and I didn't know what I'm gonna do, how I gonna bring food to my family. And then I just made a prayer, very simple prayer, to my grandma, that I got another phone call from my dad that she is ill, and it was a prayer for healing, not for the COVID, for my grandma. And it became super viral. And then I realized it was my second sign, because my first song that was very successful in Israel was also a prayer, and this was the second time that it's happened to me. And it for me was a sign, like, put your focus on this is a sign from God, do it. So this is why today, like, my songs become like more religious. But for me it's not religious, it's like, again, it's more identity. Is like, this is what my forefather used to do as a Levite. It's not that I'm in a genre. Like, if I would love to sing about something that happening in my life, I will do it. And I think that in my next album it's gonna be more like, I'm gonna speak more about things that's happening, of course with the Bible perspective. But what I want to say. And anyway, so then I met for my first time the people that do like this, and the Christian amazing community that like, I didn't know about the Christian people. I didn't know that you are there, like, people that like, I don't know, it's a long story, but it's like, for me it was so surprising to understand that there are millions of people all over the world that you said at the beginning that I'm mostly known in the Zionist Christian or the Christian that are pro-Israel, but it's not true. Like most of my audience, not necessarily pro-Israeli, like they will go to protests and things like that. Like they're just love worship, and they didn't know that I'm Jew. They just started to listen to my music, and it was kind of a crazy thing that I didn't know what to do with it. As you say, I'm a religious person, and for me to be called to come to be invited to come to a Christian event, it's not allowed. And I started to ask myself a lot of questions. Do I need to do it? During COVID, by the way, it's funny things. Like I was invited a lot to Florida, and I told them like, how can I come? It's like COVID. So people told me like, in Florida there is no COVID. So yeah, it's part of the journey to start to understand the people that you don't know that they are. You didn't know about their exist. It's kind of crazy because the support of this community is so amazing when you starting to understand what this community do for Israel for years and even before 48. Like it's kind of crazy things to open your eyes and suddenly to understand that you don't know anything about your country. So I decided that I don't want to do it. Like before that, I came to the place of understanding who are those people, and I tried to run from it. I released more couple of songs. I said like it will be a nice episode that a lot of people all over the world translate my song Refa Na, even in China, Lebanon. Like it was crazy. Like the Hezbollah tweet on it, and Benjamin Netanyahu answered them. Like it was, I was in a place of super crazy things happening.
Actually, can you explain that? Tell that story. So you wrote a
Hezbollah?
song that Hezbollah and Prime Minister Netanyahu both commented on. Can you explain that song?
Yeah, so there was a lot of people that translated the song to different languages. Some of them it was just a cover version in I don't know, Instagram, and some of them made like a version like that they decided to release it to the radio. One of them was a Lebanese singer. She lived today in California, but when she wanted to release it, all her family used to live in Lebanon. She brought them before she released the song. She took them, like her mom and her sister, she took them to California to make sure that it was crazy. It's like an operation with, it's just music. She wanted just to sing a song of Israeli person. And when she released it, so it's become like kind of a lot of, it's made a lot of impact in the Arab world, not only in Lebanon, all over the Arab world. We had some interviews in Saudi and Saudi Arabia and other countries about the song. She wanted me to sing it also, so I was singing it in Arabic with her. And
What is the song about?
they didn't know. So the song Refa Na, I pray for healing. The song is about, it's the verse when Moses praying for his sister Miriam. It's a very simple, it's like El Na Refa Na La, El Na Refa Na La, El Na. It's very simple. That's why people maybe found it really easy to sing even in Hebrew and to pray with it. So she took the song and she released it, and a lot of people started to talk about it and to sing it in Arab countries and all over the world in Arabic. And Hezbollah put her face on the front page of the biggest newspaper in Lebanon as a tweeter, and she like it was like a lot of people from her school and from her community said like, we can't talk to you anymore, we're afraid. And they came to make a research on her village to find their mom and their family, and the people in the village told that we disagree, like they were afraid. They said like, we don't know her, we don't like, So it was very dangerous. And Benjamin Netanyahu tweet on it, like there's like different Benjamin Netanyahu Twitter. So it was like in the I think Arab minister advisor, something like this. So they tweet that this is what Hezbollah is afraid of, and we have a lot of support inside of Lebanon. This song made a lot of things. So for me, I didn't know what to do with it, and a lot of people used to pray with it in churches and to invite me to come and to perform, but I'm not allowed. And it's not something that that for me as Israeli, a simple Israeli, that his Hebrew, that his English is terrible, and he never met like a lot of, I don't know, American people in general, not only Christian people. So it was so weird, and I tried to run from it and to say like, okay, it's a ninth episode in my career. I will go back and release more songs to the Israeli people, that my grandma will be proud. And I started to release more and more songs, and it's become more and more successful in the Christian communities and less in Israel. So I didn't know what to do with it. And I remember myself like coming back from a Zoom call with, it was in front of thousands of people all over the world, with the Canadian organization that, long story, but the story is that I came back from it in 5 a.m. Because it was like the time differences. I did it like this on Zoom, and I came back and I started to talk with God and to tell him like, I don't want to do it. What do you want from me? Who are those people that doing like this and singing my song? Why it's happening? Like I want to come back to my life. And I came back, and my wife started to ask me like, what is going on? Why are you like this? And I said like, I don't want to do it. And she said like, it's not about what you want to do. It's about what God wants from you. And it was like the first step, but I still had like the first step for me to understand that if she said it, it's kind of maybe a sign. But I still had a problem to go into churches because I'm an Orthodox Jew. And I had a friend that told me, a common friend of us, Uri, he told me like, why won't you go to a rabbi and ask him? So I went to an ultra-Orthodox rabbi that will say no. And this
is like said, Jonah going to Nineveh or something.
Yeah, it's kind of, today when I see it, I said like, but I needed to pass this journey to feel, I don't know, what I feel today, that this is kind of a calling, to make sure that it's not coming from the wrong place. And I went to this rabbi, and he told me like, I can't give you any decision because it's very complicated. I need to go to my rabbi. And he went to his rabbi, that is one of the biggest rabbi in the world. And this rabbi told him it's allowed for Yair, for his band, like for his event. Because what he do, like he saw what I'm doing, like on social media, and I think if I can, I'm speaking a lot and not giving you to ask questions, but
no, this is fine. Roll.
If I can sum it up, like what I do is to kind of be a bridge from both sides. Like when I'm coming to the US or when I'm coming to places like this beautiful podcast. So I'm trying to bring the story of the Israelis for the Christian people and to tell them like, you don't know the people of Israel. You need to do homework, and we need to make sure that you know people like me, that it's not about me. Like you need to know the regular Israeli guy that never heard about you, and you need to understand that this is the most important people that you need to meet when you're coming to travel here. When you want to watch the news, you need to understand that you don't know Israel. You know like the most of the Israel, and in the other side, when I'm coming to Israel and speaking in the media, and I can give you the example, for example, what's happened in Netherlands 2 weeks ago, if you want later. Mm-hmm. So when I'm coming to Israel and I made the interviews in the Israeli media, I'm your ambassador. I'm telling the story of the Christian people that we don't know, because most of the people think that the Christian community is, sorry about what I'm going to say, but I want to to give you the mirror of what people think. It's like crazy people that walking with flags and walking in Jerusalem, and I don't know, but they don't know that there are so many people that are Christians. It's not 100% what they do all day, and they not necessarily go with flags in Jerusalem. They will go to work, and maybe if you work in Google Israel and you have a Zoom meeting in Google of California, you can sit with them on Zoom, and you're not gonna know that they are Christians, and they love you, and you're not gonna talk about it because it's not something that you do in work. But this is something that I wanna make bridges also to the Israeli people to understand that we have such a good friends all over the world, mostly in the U.S., that we don't know anything about them. So this is my calling today with music.
Do you feel like since October 7th, that calling has become even more intense? I mean, how has your life... I know your life has changed a million ways personally since October 7th, but how do you also feel that professionally, like that your bridge building is even more important right now?
Yeah, so I traveled, I think, more than 10 times since October 7th to the U.S. for tours. The plan was to be there in 2024 five times. It was 9 or 10 times. I don't think that it's necessarily only because of the war, but because of the war, I had more people ask me more to not only to sing, also to come and speak. Because what I did is that I came to the US. When I came back, I went to Gaza for a month or two, and then I flew again. So when I'm standing on the stage, it's not like it's not someone that just telling you a story about Israel. It's a person that came from Gaza. And when you stand with the guitar and you just speak with a couple of sentences about what you saw and then sing a song, it's break this image of this monster from the IDF. And this is why I was a lot like in the US, speaking mostly with young people that not necessarily and I can understand it, by the way. I'm not gonna judge them because they get a lot of fake news. I felt the first thing that I felt in the beginning of the war is that when I upload something about Israel, I just lost 5,000 followers in 1 minute.
Mm-hmm.
And it's make me understand about what you said in the beginning, that most of my followers are people that love worship, not necessarily supporting Israel 100%. They would support Israel because this is what God said. They won't let someone speak bad things about Israel or to do embargo on Israel. But they say why are you doing genocide? I love you, but stop doing genocide and things like this. And my job is to explain them that it's not true. Like, I've been there, I've been in Gaza, and it's not true. So this is kind of made me more understand what is this calling from God that I had a couple of years ago. It was for me another sign that God put me here to represent this also, not only with music, also with to speak with people and explain them, and to use my influence, my followers, to be more ambassadors with the truth. And yeah, it was a hard time this year.
So you are in the reserves, I assume, and that's required you to go into long stints of also fighting? Yeah, I've been in Gaza. I fought in Gaza for a couple of months. I saw a very hard thing. It's not a war. It's not an easy thing, but I can tell that I saw the spirit of the King David in the Jewish people. That it was so inspiring. Because I'm coming with a different perspective. I'm not in the army now, so when you come back and you see the young soldiers
doing like Shema Israel before they go into the fight, and not because it's kind of Allah Akbar or something like this. It's more like I know that I need to fight now, and I will be the best warrior that I can. I will practice and I will do whatever it's needed, but I'm not here to kill anyone. I'm coming to protect my country and my people. So I need to say Shema Israel, like to protect myself also, my soul. And this is what I saw with people. And it was so inspiring, like young people that suddenly you see, like a lot of people talk about the TikTok generation, that you see them such an amazing people. And for me, as much as it was so hard to be in the fight, you have kids, you have wife, all the family really worried, and it's like people need to understand that in Israel, like I don't know the percentage, but a lot of families used to be for months with no father in the house. It's not like that we have an army that it's outside, like it's a profession. It's like regular people like me, singers, doctors, lawyers, like they just left everything and went to the battle. So it was so inspiring. I can share, if you want, the one story from the war that I used to.
Yes, please.
That I share all the time on stage. So there was one place. It's called when I'm in elite unit, so we used to go in and out all the time and not to stay in one place. I was in a unit that's similar to the Navy SEALs of the U.S. So we used to go into place to make our mission, to stay maybe a day and to come back. So in one day, one of our missions, we went to a place that this place is a kind of a basement. We call it in Hebrew Mignan. Mignan from the word Haganah, like defense. So you took control on a couple of houses, and then you put all the forces inside, tanks and whatever you need, that they can rest a little bit. So we went to this place, and I'm a major now, so I was in charge of a couple of soldiers. So I went to the manager, the captain of this Mignan, of this basement, and I asked him, like, what are the rules of this place? Like in every place you have a different rules because of it depends on what they had in the day before, or what's the intelligence of the Hamas fighters. So he said, I will ask you a question, and I give you a story and I will ask you a question. You see this place, and he just point like this. 2 days ago, 3 kids came to very close by to our Mignan, to our basement, and they started to watch. They was with bicycles, and they stand like this and started to watch. We started to shout on them, leave this place, it's not allowed, it's a closed army place, you're not allowed to, it's an army zone, you're not allowed to be here. They didn't left. Then they started to shoot to the air, they didn't left. So they started to shoot very close to on the floor, and then they left. They didn't shoot them. They just left. And he said, like, as you understand, I'm like you. I have kids. I will never shoot kids. An hour later, a terrorist with the RPG came to the same place and shoot RPG on the tank of his friends, and 2 of his good friends just died. And he said, like, these 3 kids, of what we understand, they are the intelligent of these terrorists that came with the RPG. So I'm asking you a question. What do you think that I needed to do? And what do you think the rules of this place? So this is something that people can't understand when they sit and watching TV and watching, like, in their sofa in their houses and want to understand what is going on in the Middle East, in the war. They don't understand what we faced with and what we are facing with, and when I'm coming to speak with people, I'm sharing this story to explain them. I don't know what I would do, and I don't know, even after I understood that they are the intelligent of these terrorists, I don't know what I will do if I was in this situation. But we're fighting against the devil itself, like it's a pure evil. The only good thing that I can take from this story, that it's a terrible story, but the only good thing is that I see in this story that if you are facing the devil, it means that you are in the right side of this conflict. So this is the only thing that I can take from it, but I can't say what I will do in this situation. And I felt so sorry about him, because he's gonna carry this situation to all of his life. That because of his decision, his friends died. So yeah, this is the war.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, these Israeli soldiers are so young and having to make these life and death decisions. But you're right. You want to be on the side of righteousness for sure. Well, Yair, tell our listeners just where they can find you. How can they find your music and your platforms?
So I'm everywhere. It's Yair Levi with I. Most of the people are writing Yair Levi with Y, but I wanted to be special. So it's Yair Levi with I, Yair Levi, and you can find it Spotify, Apple Music, like everywhere, YouTube. I'm also I'm sharing a lot of things on Israel, on the Hebrewness of the Bible in my Instagram. I have also Telegram, a website. We're traveling a lot all over the world, so you can find also on our website the event. We're coming to the US once a while, and yeah, this is how.
When is your next concert in the US? Do you know yet?
So it's gonna be in the end of February. We have couple of things that it's not finalized, so I can't say dates, but it's gonna be in the end of February. We also have in Netherlands and Belgium in the middle end of March, and then in April we have another concert in Sweden. It's very surprising. For me, it's not surprising, but if we want, I can share a little bit about Europe that people don't know. That we had a very interesting experience 2 weeks ago. I know that a lot of people. It was on the news that Maccabi Tel Aviv, the group, the football group, they came to a football game in Amsterdam, and the people that came to the game, the Israeli people, they were attacked by the Muslim people in Amsterdam. By the way, not only on the Israeli, also the Jewish community. They came to houses of people, and it was kind of a pogrom. By the way, funny and interesting thing that you will understand later why I'm mentioning it, that the mayor of Amsterdam, she said it's not pogrom. It's not a pogrom. Pogrom is a Zionist propaganda. It's not a pogrom. This is what she said. And I got a lot of messages from people from Netherlands saying we disagree with this. And I have to tell you that I didn't know that I have so many followers from Netherlands. I know that I have a lot of followers from Brazil, from the US, some from Germany. But I got so many messages, so I just made a story on my Instagram saying who here from Netherlands? And I got hundreds of messages from people, and I told them, I get so many messages, try to organize something. And I didn't know that I'm going to be involved in it. I just told them go to the street and say that you disagree with what's happened. And I got so many feedback and a lot of organizations that started to call me to say we want you to come to organize it. We want to be part of your event. And I said I don't have any event. It was just a story on my Instagram. And thanks to that, there's an amazing organization called Christian for Israel in Europe. They based in Netherlands. and they decided to organize it. And what's happened is that day before, they wanted to go to Dam Square to organize like a big event, also with the worship music, and some speakers. And the mayor of Amsterdam, a day before, decided to say that it's not allowed in Dam Square because she can't secure the people. So they didn't know what to do. And I told them, like, this is the best thing that could happen to you, because now you need to go to the media and you will see that thousands of people will come to the event. And this is what they did. They changed the place because they didn't have time to go to the court or something, because she did it like a day before. I think in a purpose, like she tried to cancel it. I'm sorry that I'm putting things in but this is what's happening.
No, that seems clear.
Yeah, and we changed the place, and thousands of people came. It was such a, I don't know, it was more than my expectations. So and you can see it like also like in my YouTube, Instagram. I just share about it, that it was like one of the best experience that I ever had. And so many people came to me after the event and told me, like, we wanted to speak, we didn't have the platform to do it. So because of you and because of Christian for Israel, we were allowed to come and say we disagree. It's not we are Israelis, we are Zionists. We disagree with the fact that Israelis cannot come to Amsterdam. We disagree with this. And it's not necessarily, of course, most of them were Christian, but it's not necessarily just Christian people. So I think like the Christian communities need to lead it, but it's not only for people that necessarily like very, very religious. Like it's also kind of a movement that starts now in Europe of people saying like, wait a second, I live in Netherlands, my forefathers used to live here, and we never been afraid to say what we want. And now we're afraid because people can attack us. And the most interesting thing that happened there is that in the same Saturday, we did our event in Thursday. In the same Saturday, there was a big protest of pro-Palestinians against Israel in Dam Square that wasn't cancelled. So the people in Netherlands started to understand that they are losing their country because, anyway. So this is for me was very inspiring to see a lot of people with a lot of courage to go out and not to be afraid. And I hope it will bring more inspiration to more people to go out to the streets and to do this. Yeah.
I love that you accidentally planned an event and counter protest to what happened there in Amsterdam. That, I mean, sometimes we just have to follow God's lead, and those are the biggest things that we could ever do in this life. Well, thank you so much, Yair, for being on the show. I know our listeners already, many of them follow your music and follow your Instagram account, but for all those that don't, please check out Yair. I'm sure so much of your music could just be shared with other Christians, for our Christian listeners who haven't yet, been able to break through to people about the truth of Israel and the truth of the unique Jewish-Christian relationship that we see really helping counter anti-Semitism and defend Israel in the world today. But thank you so much, and I look forward to hearing about more tour dates in America.
Thank you very much, Ali. Thank you for listening and inviting me to this beautiful podcast. And by the way, thank you for all you do in general for Israel for years. So thank you.